V'hinei mi she'ein daito v'sichlo chazak. Now, someone whose knowledge and intellect is not strong enough, l'holid mitvunaso ahava v'yira, to give birth from their understanding, love and fear, al derachanal, like was explained, b'hizbonenus, with the contemplation. Because they are unable to widen and go deep with their knowledge so much. So that the advice that's given to his soul is to serve Hashem in a way of netzach and hod, of overcoming and acknowledgement. If you can't do it with open love and fear, so you do it with overcoming and standing strong. And he'll explain this. And the explanation of these two attributes, they are in the likeness of love and fear. So we explained that these different midos are miskalal one with the other. So they're like love and fear. Only they do not have the light and life force so much, like in love and fear, even though they are on-off chesed and gvura. They come from the chesed and gvura, the netzach and hod. And they're called the branches of love and fear. Netzach is the branch of love, and hod is the branch of fear. And look, in these places to see the connection, because it's not obvious from the first glance. And to explain, to understand the explanation of their concept, the concept of the attribute of hod, it's known, it's a concept of acknowledgement, that's in the soul, when you acknowledge with a nullified state that something is so, that is the truth, even if you don't understand it. Like we say, like the concept of that we acknowledge to you, that you are Havai Elokeinu, even if we can't see it and understand it with our own eyes. That is to say, that even though we cannot grasp the depth of this idea, that I am Hashem and have not changed, that Havaya is the Elokim, that the revelation is the hiding. Nonetheless, with acknowledgement, we do acknowledge that is certainly so. So too the concept of acknowledgement, but that when the vessels of your grasping cannot grasp it, it's a concept of acknowledgement, like when a person acknowledges to their friend, when a person has victory over another, and their arguments, so that you say that with them is the truth, that they're actually right. And this acknowledgement is when you nullify yourself. It's a nullification of your essence, that you nullify yourself and instead not acknowledge your friend, and so forth. So to above, when you contemplate the greatness of Hashem, there are those that cannot and grasp the depth of this. Aval nikol mok miyodeh, but nonetheless, they will acknowledge b'bichinas hoda b'mocho, with an acknowledgement in their mind, al klolus hasaga, the general concept of this idea, Eich Havaya hu Elokim, that Havaya is the Elokim ukiyotze and the like, ukiyotze b'zeh b'shari ha'izbonunus, and similarly in other types of contemplation, that you recognize and acknowledge the truth in the idea, even if you can't grasp it. V'kir inyan ha'odah, and the main concept of this acknowledgement, Ubichinas bitl atzmus hanefesh, is a nullification of the essence of the soul, like it says now, I will acknowledge Hashem, I will nullify my state in front of Hashem. Haga, and a comment on this, look what's brought about the concept of acknowledgement in Yehuda, you will. Yehuda is from the language of Hodah, and this that it says in the Siddur about Mizmor Soda, that the word Toda and that Korban is also a concept of Hodah. And about in Lag BaOmer, which is the Sfira Hod Shebehod, is Borbar Yichus Minyan Hodah, explains at length the concept of acknowledgement. B'dibur hamaschil tzion b'mishpat hipadeh, b'likuti Torah Pashas Eke, b'drush birchas hamazon b'inyan birchas haaretz. And the Maamar about birchas hamazon and the bracha of the land, shmascheles, that it starts b'hodah, with acknowledgement. No delachachulu, I acknowledge to you, and it's known, and that's the bracha that has bris and Torah that are chiyuv, that you have to acknowledge those. Vayin od bebir al pasuk ele pekudi mishkan ha'edus v'hine b'chol mo'odecha. Now, when we say in Shema with all of your might, lepirush echad b'mishnah perek tes brachos havi model o b'me'od me'od. According to one parish in the Mishnah, what does it mean? Me'odecha, it means you have to be modeh. You have to acknowledge b'chol midah she'moded lecha havi model o b'me'od me'od. You have to acknowledge him very, very much. So it's both from the language of acknowledgement and also from the language of very, very much acknowledgement. Shaykh l'inyan hodah. So it's also a concept of acknowledgement. I guess b'chol me'odecha, if you give up your life, it's also a state of bittul. Vayin mashkas of softi baramaschil yivilu shmalchus chulu. Vayin od minyan hodah softi baramaschil b'chafei b'kislev b'inyan halal v'hodah. Look what it says in the Chanukah Maamar on the 25th of Kislev concerning praise and acknowledgement. V'softi baramaschil v'kibel ha'yehudim. Look what it says about that on Purim, that the Yehudim received Matan Torah, that the word Yehudim were called Yehudim because our state of bittul and hodah. And Yeviu levush malchus, where it talks about Mordechai, Ish Yehudi, that he was a man who acknowledges Hashem and has bittul and is kofer b'avodah zara, Avshai Mishevet Binyamin, that he's called a Yehudi even though he's from the tribe of Binyamin, because he had this midah. B'lukuti Torah Parshas Pinchas b'dibur hamaschil biur al pasuk korbani lachmi v'sham perek beis gabi v'hu inyan kara b'modim. Look what it's brought in the Maamar, my korban, my bread, over there in the second perek, concerning the concept of someone who bows down in modim. Look in those other places. Now, with this acknowledgement in your mind, you can actually bring out a love and an attachment, even though it's only acknowledgement. Like when you say Shema Yisrael, Hashem is our God, that even if you can't grasp it, you're still acknowledging at that time Shavaya Echad, that Hashem is one. B'zayin Rakim v'ha'aretz, in the seven heavens and the earth, v'dal ruchos olam chulu, in the four directions of the world. So even though it's only Huda, the contemplation of this Huda itself can bring to Ava and Dveikus. By day Bechinas Huda Zos, and through this type of acknowledgement, you full Ava believe, you can cause a love in the heart. Be'omru v'ahavta es Havaya Elokecha b'chol vavcha. When you say you should love Hashem Elokecha with all of your hearts. L'kayim Torah mitzvahs al yidei zeh acharat tefillah be'emes lamito, to fulfill Torah mitzvahs through this, after prayer and complete truth. Ketzadik gamor b'mesirus nefesh hulu, just like a complete tzaddik with self-sacrifice. Vacuum has, I guess, with the concept of self-sacrifice is the same. It's a similar concept of Hodah. Vacuum, like we said with the Perush of Praktes de Brachos in the Mishnah of B'chol Meodecha, Mudelo b'meod meod. Vacuum hazeh the Torah b'china satiferes kanal. And the fulfilling this in Torah. So he's saying after the tefillah, you do this in Torah mitzvahs. So if you have the love and fear in the tefillah, you fulfill the Hodah in Torah with tiferes. So chesed gvura tiferes. V'nimtza b'chinas Hodah zos, so it's found in this concept of acknowledgement. Miskalelis b'midas ha'avo b'midas ha'tiferes. So he didn't mention yira. So it's love and dveikus, and then after the tefillah with tiferes. So maybe fear is not part of it, the concept of Hodah, because he excludes it. Or at least he's talking about the right side now. So he talks about chesed, ava, and now tiferes. Now we're going to talk about netzach too. So do we see that there's this inclusion within netzach. Oh, so we talked about. So actually, no. He's going on the left side. We talked about Hodah, and now we're going to talk about. So Hod is on the left side. So the concept of Ava and Vekus together with Hodah, that's a connection between the right side and the Anaf Hayira. Now he's going to talk about Netzach, which is on the right side. It's the Anaf HaChesed together with Yira, which is on the left side. Which is the concept of strength. Now the concept of overcoming, which is this extra strength, to stand upon your soul, to have the left, to push aside the other, to bend the other, or down the other side, to stay away from bad, in all the different types of guarding the negative commandments, and to have the good inclination overcome the bad inclination. That is to have the good be stronger than the bad. This type of attribute is a stubbornness. Like the concept of that you are a stubborn nation, but as a praise. That is to say, when a person is not able to stay away from bad because of what they've contemplated to actually awaken in their heart the yira, but they still actualize it through the netzach, to the right side. But nonetheless, the person stands upon their soul beneath sochon v'ikshus, with a overcoming and stubbornness, not to transgress even a light thing of the words of our sages. Even if a person is not aroused with fear through their contemplation, and this is in the likeness of hod, of the acknowledgement of the left side. Now, just like the hod affects love, and that the left side of hod affects the right side of ava, even without the contemplation of actual love, in a deep way, so too the victory, the overcoming, can cause on the right side, can cause the fear of the left side, even if you do not have the contemplation to awaken that midah of fear. So it's found then, even though the overcoming is the branch of kindness, and not the branch of strictness, so that netzach is the branch of kindness and not the branch of strength. And the acknowledgement of hod is the branch of gvura and not the branch of kindness of chesed. Nonetheless, we see that these two attributes, these two midos, are able to flip their source and what they affect above, to unite and be included and include together the netzach with the yira, the overcoming with the fear, should be bechinas hagvura, which is from the gvura, and the hod from the left side unites with the ava on the right side, should be bechinas hachesed kido, which is the concept of kindness, as is known. Hagar, in a comment on this, and according to this, we can understand what it says in Torah or Suf Parshas Vayetze, Bedibur Hamaschel V'yashkim Lavan, and the Maamer that Lavan got up in the morning, Ben Yanai Fresh, Ben Ha'avos Seinin HaMerkava, with the difference between how the Avos are the Merkava Shein Atzmus HaMidos, which are the essence of the Midos themselves, Ubein Hashvatim Yud Beis, and the difference between them and the 12 tribes, Afal Pi She'efshar Lanu Lekabel Ha'av V'yira Me'ha'avos Atzman, that even though we cannot receive the love and fear from the avos themselves, Al Kulpanim Shuv Laman Avadecha Shiftei Nachal Asecha, nonetheless return for the sake of your servants, the tribes of your inheritance, Shemehem Anu Yocholim Lekabel, that from them we can receive. That is because they are this concept of the 12 boundaries of diagonal that we said, that you have the hiskalolus of the different midos. And just like we said in Tefillah, if you don't have the avavira, you can get it through the netzach and hod. So too, if you can't get through the avos, you can get through the shvatim, which are the hiskalolus of the midos below. That through this we can receive the love and fear of the avos and so forth. Now the concept of a person's actions who are greater than his wisdom, that's the concept of netzach. That your actions, you don't have the wisdom, but nonetheless you do it. That's netzach, overcoming. And therefore your wisdom stands. And why does it stand? Because netzach also means forever. So we see that it's not just, perhaps he's hinting to it, that it's not just the midos avavira, but even higher. And here netzach is also on the side of chachma, so that's not the chiddush, but perhaps the fact that it can affect also in the mochin. Maybe the Skalalus effects even there. I'm not sure why he's bringing this particular Maimar Azal, other than the fact that this has to do with Netzach as well.